call you back, I call you back. And it was the kind of, as you saw, there was no real scene. It was one line, you know, watch out, here they come. And I just remember running
You did it
around.
so well.
Yeah. I ran around Gary's office pretending like I had a laser gun and a sword and saying these, you know, one line here and hiding behind the couch. And finally, I remember when they called and said that I had a job. And it was my very, very first movie, television, anything, speaking any lines as an actress. So.
Comic books and movies, some of the barbarian manager for. How did you become production designer of this huge poem?
Well, it's interesting because I wasn't hired as a production designer. I was hired to do shorthands. And Gary and I hit it off. We had a shorthand because we shared the same passion. We were both big fans of Jack Kirby.
Yep.
And so we had a shorthand for communicating with each other. If Gary told me, you know, I need a little more, just a little more Kirby, I knew exactly what he meant. It's the production designer we had, Jeff, he was a fellow from England, and he and Gary didn't always see eye to eye. Now, Gary is the best pitchman in the business. He can sell ice to Eskimos. He's unbelievable. I remember one day he was taking all the Mattel people around the offices and showing them the progress on the movie. And he saved the art department for last because he wanted to show them all that eye candy. And he got to the art department, and when they walked in, I could tell, man, these guys they could not only see the movie, they could taste the movie, they could feel the movie. They were so excited and so pumped up. And at the end of his pitch, Gary kind of turned to Jeff for a little affirmation, like, right, Jeff? And Jeff looked up from the drawing board and he said, that ain't going to be too fucking awful. And about a week or two later, I became the production director.
At the end of Mr. DeLongis, how does one become a weapons master?
One day at a time. I thought it was something good for an actor to do, and so that began a journey. I've now been studying related weapons for some 44 years. You know, all the European, Filipino, and Japanese, and something that kind of sustains me in the turbulent waters of a show business career. It's kind of funny because Robert and I worked together on the Conan show. I took over that show for the last 3 years and was allowed to re-choreograph, which was a great honor. It was the one show at the Universal that did Once Upon a Time. It was my favorite show to be part of, and Gary had no small amount to do with that as well.
We shared one other film together, Anthony. I wrote Goddard and the Sorcerers. My first screenplay, Roger Corman bought it, and we were one of the stars.
Yes, I was. I was Rodrigo. That was my last option. That was in my 30s then. I do have one question. Who's responsible for the headdress on Skeletor in Final Transformation? Is that you? Something I always wondered because I got to do a lot of different things, and that was one of the things in show business. As we all know, the more things you can do, the more you get to keep working. So we develop our skills. You voice and lots of other things that we will. And as it turned out, not only did I get to play, which was wonderful, but I got to double Frank Langella, Ian, and we were going to have this big fight with, He-Man sword, which I dubbed Buick Slayer because it was by the Congress, and then we had that amazing staff of Skeletor. And I said, so I'm going to be Skeletor when we do this, right? And so I put together the choreography, with this big staff fight and sword. And then right before we shot, the news was broken to me that, no, you're going to be wearing the New York skyline on your head. And all that cool stuff that we did with the staff just had to go by the wayside.
So that headdress is definitely very curvy.
It's very big, too. So thank you so much for that.
For Robert, you were Card and acted through prosthetics and also wearing a cool white cape. What was it like acting, and how did you perform, sir?
Well, first of all, I had worked for Gary, in Adventures of Conan at Universal Studios, and Gary said, "I got a movie, there might be something for you in it, And I went through, just like yesterday, a whole series of auditions and did a lot of emotional stuff because he wanted true emotion through that makeup. Very hard to do. You have to believe what you're doing very strongly, and that's pretty much it. But it was enormous fun to do. And I got to pay tribute tonight to someone who's not here, and it's Billy Barty. Talk about creating a wonderful, memorable character through makeup, and just all that love and fun and everything all came from him. And just being in Billy's presence every day was being with a legend. He would tell stories.
Many of which can't be repeated.
Most of them can't be repeated. But he was just a remarkable person. You know, he began in movies way back in the 20s, in the late 20s, and had all that history. It was just remarkable. So it was a great experience for all of us, and getting to know these wonderful people too.
He was a great guy too. Every morning I'd feel a little tug at the back of my coat. It'd be Billy. He'd have a new joke for me.
Yes.
One of my favorite memories was watching Robert eat at lunch because he, how long were you in Vancouver? About 3 hours?
About 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
By the way, Michael was great work he did on this film.
Because I had worked mightily on Star Trek Voyager, played a character called Majkala, and I was 2.5 hours in an hour out, so it always made me think of you. But it was very funny because at meal times, because you had to protect your makeup, he was cutting little bites and kind of prying the lip open. Yeah, it was. It never ended. Well done.
I could never really have a decent meal. I was so afraid the face was going to fall apart and I had to go through another 4 hours, Yeah, I was glad to do Star Trek, but it only took 2.5 on that. I was one of the original Ferengis on that show. Yeah, so it was fun.
For Robert, next time there, tell us about working on the suits and how long did you make those, or how many suits you actually produced?
Well, it's funny. I haven't seen the film in quite a while. And the fact that every other shot has like 12, 13, 14, 15 of those suits of armor in every shot. It just brought back all the nightmares. The amount of suits every day that we had to work on. And hair. Fortunately, as a supervisor, I got to sit back and watch Max actually manhandle the stuff on a daily basis. So I should turn the mic over to Max for a moment.
Well, if I remember right, I think we made you see about 50, 60 guys in some of the shots, but I seem to remember we made almost close to 300 suits of armor. Because you see a lot of the guys, they get dumped over the edge of that attorney and throne room set, and I went to set several times, and I can tell you, that set, that was not an optical how big it looked. It was huge.
We took 2 sound stages and knocked out the wall between them. We made the biggest set that Hollywood had seen in 40 years. It was the most needed set.
And the thing about that, 15 at least. So you talk about the stuntmen then having to fall off that pit, fall 15 feet deep. There's not much left of that suit after the falls to be put back together. So we must have made at least 300 suits, and we had to do this in 1 month's time. So we were there like usually 7 days a week making those suits.
Oh yeah. The trick was finding the right materials because we knew that most of them were going to be stunt oriented. So we came up with a vacuum form system for most of the trooper outfits, and they crack every once in a while. But it was very easy to just run in and replace chest pieces, arm pieces, that kind of thing. So we had a combination of vacuum form suits, which were very light, a la the stormtroopers from Star Wars. And then we tried. And then there were also for the Centurions, the ones with the spiky-backed headpiece.
They have a helmet that's kind of shaped like a football,
Yeah, they're kind of like the honor guard. And those helmets, for some reason, it was one of those things where those shapes, if you look at them, you can't really vacuum form them, unlike the troopers, which have a very basic Darth Vader kind of back to them and a faceplate. But the honor guard had a much more distinct kind of head and a kind of a return on it, so we couldn't vacuum form them. And so finally, had to decide, what process to use on each one. So for those are fiberglass helmets, and fairly heavy duty because of the shape. Now, there's one helmet that I keep at home out of all the helmets that we ever built. Again, 300 pieces. The one that I kept is one of those Centurion helmets, and the reason for it is that that's one helmet that during one of the fights, somewhere along the line, somebody, it's one of those things where during one of the fights, one of the swords actually hit the helmet. And fortunately, it was one of the fiberglass ones. So it stopped the sword. And of course, we had safety helmets inside all the units just in case something went wrong. And so that's the helmet that I kept. That one that hopefully saved the stunt guys. It's got this huge gouge across the top of it that just reminds me of how careful we have to be as far as what we build and and all the safety precautions, because no matter how careful you are, something can and does go wrong. So that's always a reminder to me when I'm doing this or thinking back on that stuff. But the key was for us was we knew it was going to be a lot of stunt work, so keeping
on this movie. My first feature film, and it has everything. It's a textbook. It's got facial appliances. It's got contact lenses. He almost went blind one day on that. It has animals. It has opticals. It has stunts, pyrotechnics, explosions, glass shots, match shots, you name it, it was in this picture.
Everything but rain.
Everything but rain, that's true. So that was the first thing. The second thing is Canada was going out of business at the time, but we didn't know that when we started the movie. If you watch the documentary, you already know this, I'll just tell you 3 times. I showed up in the morning and the producer said, we're done. And I said, we need products. We're not, there's no money, we're not going to make payroll. And I had a good relationship with everyone, with the cast and the crew, and even the Teamsters, everybody. And I pulled the Teamsters together and said, your money's not here right now, but we're all here. Shouldn't we shoot the day out while we're here? And Elliot is going to get the money. And by the end of the day, he'll have the money, we'll all be good. And they all kind of went, yeah, well, I guess you're right, we're here, let's shoot. So, we shot, and by the end of the day, Elliot, I never knew where I got the money until I saw them in the little cell. Of course, it makes sense now. They went to Mattel. And so every day was a challenge, but actually I kind of thrived on it. And we had to solve problems all the time. Great team. Bill is really a production designer in this because even though Julie Weiss has credit for costumes, and no slight to her, she built the costumes and everything, but she did not get the concept of creating a whole world. This is world creation. And of course, Bill did. So I came down pretty hard on Bill and said, look, you're going to still get the credit. But I've talked to Bill. He's going to give you the concept sketches for the costume. So when we talk about this movie as a production designer, Bill is some combination of Ross McQuarrie and all of them together because the costumes, the props, the world. He had help, and the other concept artists, but Bill was the one who pulled it all together and I think gave it a sense of a world, and that's what we worked very hard to do on a fairly restricted budget. So I could regale you with stories of all the challenges, but I won't bother you. But I want to tell you one thing. Actually, she left out one part. I met her when she auditioned for Conan. And I never forgot her because she was strikingly beautiful, very good. She could really make the moves and everything. What happened was, when we were doing the auditions, and the casting director was bringing in all these actresses, they were great, but I wanted to know if they could do the physicality of the roles. It's hard to find a woman who can do the acting and look comfortable holding a weapon. Not so much anymore. There's a lot of women heroes now, but back then, not so much. And I said to them, there was this girl, Chelsea Fields. She wants to, would you get in touch with her? She tracked her down, right? Found her agent, and brought her in. And yes, the reason so many times, because on what she doesn't know, on the other hand, she's never done a movie before. She's never done a movie before. I said, yeah, but I think she can do it. She can do it. So I had to keep growing it. Remember the last one? There were like 5 people watching. That was Elliot and Ed Pressman. I don't know. They were all there.
Yeah.
So she indirectly gives back a comment, and then yes, she was definitely doing that. And Conan was a great experience too. So many challenges. That's just a drill.
For Chelsea, you were rolling with this great team with Dolph and John Cypher for the party. You remember still working with them, making a pretty good.
You know, I have not seen the movie since it opened. So this is the second time I've seen it. And although I had a lot of sort of 30-something-ish guys come up to me and say, "Oh my God, you were Masters of the Universe." My Pilates instructor, who I had working me out for quite a few years, finally admitted that, you know, he almost freaked out when he found out that he was going to start working me out because he was a huge Master of the Universe fan. What was it? Oh, yeah. No, it truly was. There was no other movie that I had so much fun on. This was my first movie, and it was the best in terms of how much fun we had. All the night shoot when they landed in the little town, when they were in the music store, all that. That was in Whittier, and that felt like it went on forever. Okay, I don't know how many weeks we were actually there, because we ran out of money.
No, the reason is because when we went to Whittier, they were trying to save money. But now think about this: the deal they did with Whittier is the streets all had to be working again by 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. So we lost 3 to 4 hours at night where they rigged the streets. We got about 3 to 4 hours of shooting, and then they had to break to, break everything down again. So we only really were getting about 4 hours a night. That was it.
Okay. I'll believe that.
Yeah, it was.
But we were there for a very long time. It was actually, when you do night shooting, it's this weird sort of cool community that you're in, because you feel like you're the only people that are, driving to work at 6 o'clock at night, and then working all night and going home at 6 in the morning. And that scene where Billy asks for the Tesseract, we were so punchy and we were so exhausted. This was towards the end of the, I don't know, it felt like 15 weeks. I think it was only maybe 4 or 5, but we were on 6.
Something like that.
Yeah. And John Cypher, who I recently just spoke to and recalled this story, we were so crazy exhausted, and everyone was getting our lines mixed up. We had very few lines. And John Cypher, that he said, "Give me the octave rectifier," and John kept saying, "I've got a rectal occupier." And still to this day, I have such a fond feeling for everybody, Rodney and Courtney and James and the little crew that I hung out with. Made really good friends.
And I just want to say Frank Langella, because he was going to be here because he was in town shooting a couple of things here last week, and we stayed in touch. He was actually going to show up, but we wound up he had to go out to New York, so he's in New York, and he couldn't be here. But the studio was like Frank Langella, but I had seen him in Amadeus on Broadway, and along with his film roles, and same thing. I knew I needed someone behind all that makeup that could act the crap out of this thing and make you feel immense and make you feel, and it turned into much more than that. And Frank was really great to work with, and another guy who had to go, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours of makeup, every day, every night before, but he really delivers, and I really feel he anchors the whole movie, and that was kind of, if you want to talk about the film, the script originally was much more of a story with Dolph and I. The one thing I think I did was I pulled much more of the story to Skeletor, almost as if you're seeing the story more through his eyes and through the lens, because I knew I had powerful actors who could anchor the story, and the villains have the power of the beast anyway. So I think you really feel, and I thought I'd see this again, almost the same as you. So seeing it again, I think that worked in the sense that whenever they're there, they're powering this thing forward. And Frank did a fantastic job. And they did put on everything, every piece of his costume, his makeup, everything. And I think did a great performance, which Which more recently, the last 2 or 3 years, some of the fan magazines are starting to realize that. They're starting to actually, when they're doing these lists, they're saying, hey, what about Skeletor? And I actually think it is one of the great screen villains.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of my favorite ones, the Curious Quartet. Gary and Bill and everybody, thank you so much for wonderful members here. I mean, it had been years since I've seen this. Actually, the first time was up 25th anniversary at the screen. And it's hard to believe it was 28 years ago that we made the film. And well, that's not for you. But it is really extraordinary. I've traveled all over the world, and everywhere I go, people tell me,
oh, okay, I got the great story. So, you know, most of you don't know that I'm pretty good friends with Brian Singer. And about 7 years ago, we were at some campus somewhere. He was doing a lecture afterwards. They were all going, X-Men, blah, blah. Brian at some point goes to like his 7 filmmaking students in their 20s. Oh, this is my friend Gary, and he did this and this. Oh, he also directed a movie called Masters of the Universe. They all go, Masters of the Universe! And suddenly, it was the whole thing, and I was looking at Brian, yeah, Masters of the Universe.
Oh, I haven't seen this movie again since I first saw it in the preview, and it does really well. You know, it's almost 30 years old. It's really hard to movie. And it's just great seeing that guy over there hasn't changed at all. I can't believe you.
I have his portrait in my closet.
Yeah, it was
terrible.
And it's just one. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I actually want to fill one quick
Okay.
Sure. Like, watching some of the vision, you notice everything basically built. I mean, everything's designed, everything people holds up. What was that? I mean, how long did it take, or how big is your team, or just what was the additional challenge of making all the suits and making them for stuff and acting or designing all this stuff?
Even though it was a big picture for Canon, we still had a skeleton crew. It was a tight unit. It was great. I had a fantastic crew. In fact, one of the bits of trivia is our art department production assistant, Joshua Olson. A few years later, got nominated for an Oscar for writing History of Violence. Just fantastic. Also,
That was actually his biography of his time on Masters of the Universe.
the other weird and Masters of the Universe trivia, you all saw Robbie's Ribs and Chicken. Well, that was a real fast food place, and I just designed plugins to cover up the signs of the place. But that was where Robbie King was beaten.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with our movie.
But no, we had a great crew, and fortunately at that time in Santa Monica, my friend Jean Giraud, also known as Mobius, was working. And so I did and he did some fantastic stuff for us. But
And Ralph we got Ralph for 2 weeks, and he was instrumental on the Air Centurions. That was, just that little period where he got it, where he was, they put Cocoon on hold. He was working for Ron Howard, and I had called him earlier, and he remembered, he said, hey, I'm kind of on hold. You still want me to do something? And we had him do some sketches for the Air Centurions, which turned out pretty cool.
All right, let's take some audience questions and make sure it's a question. Prayer.
Yeah, I'm wondering, given the wealth of source material for Masters of the Universe, why you guys opted to go with different designs, for example, for this sword or whatnot.
to make it more interesting. Seriously. I mean, the toys were shockingly cheap. They had a lot of this toy stuff. It's going to be very boring. And so you have to feed that visually.
On that very point, to get rid of a few things real quick. First of all, we wanted to have a sense of reality, and our whole idea was we wanted to take the mythology of Masters of the Universe and be true to it. Now, when I was brought in, the concept for going to Earth was already there because it was budgeted as a $15 to $17 million movie, and that's the only way we could do it. There weren't even the bookends, really. There wasn't the first scene in eternity. It just this weary warrior winds up at the door of Julie, and that's how the movie starts. And I thought we needed a bookend to give it more of an epic feeling and to give it more, at least some sense of eternity. Within that context, we wanted everything to have a sense of reality in a live action picture. The other decision was to not have Orko. This is for all of you, I mean, most of you know this is pre-digital effects. So to have an Orko, a guy on wires or stop motion animation, same thing with Battle Cat, whereas Battle Cat, the way I justify it in my mind is this group of Eternians wound up on Earth. It doesn't mean that Battle Cat's not back there. It doesn't mean that any of those other missing pieces are there. It doesn't mean that he's not Adam back there. He has no reason to be Adam here. So all those decisions were conscious in the sense that we're not in any way changing the mythology on Eternia. We're just saying this band of warriors wound up here to fish out a water story, and that was our starting point. So we didn't neglect it. We made conscious decisions because I feel like in the movie, the weakest point is your Achilles heel. In the movie, we didn't want to stop motion Battle Cat. We didn't want to stop motion Orko or a guy in wires flying around. It would have taken away from the reality. So Gwildor was the replacement for an Orko type. They were all conscious decisions.
The Jack Kirby influence, was the whole point of the universe part of like the fourth world where like Darkseid was trying to take smash up all existence? Was that taken straight from the fourth world saga?
No, because you steal from one source, it's stealing, but if you do it from many sources, it's an homage. But greatly influenced by Jack Kirby my whole life, and Stanley, but for those of us that really know Marvel, we know how much Jack was a key to all of the universes that we're now seeing, on the screen.
That's right.
And at one point, I wanted Jack to, before Bill came on, I wanted Jack to do the film, but they didn't want him. And then Bill and I met Bill, and I think just like he said, and we had a common vernacular, so that worked out fantastic. They wouldn't even let, I wanted to put a dedication in there, Jack Kirby, they wouldn't do that either. So, they mixed it. Did a custom made things, they wouldn't, but I who's Jack Kirby? So if you see a Kirby influence, it's by design. The cosmic key, the idea of some transportal dimension thing was already in the script I got from David Odell, but the creation of the cosmic key is advice was more me, and yes, that owes some inspiration from the Loop Tube, of course, yes.
Yeah.
And if anyone knows Jack Kirby stories, Luke is a typical Jack Kirby, the voice of the audience is always going, what's going on here, that guy, which he was for us in this picture as well. So nothing directly, no, it's just, I'd love to do the Fourth World series as movies, that would be awesome. But this borrows elements from it, but it's not Orion, it's not, it's not like Ryan, all those guys, but that would be a very great movie, obviously.
Really quick question, so down line here. What did you keep from the movie?
Pardon me?
What did you keep from the movie?
You mean physically? Did I keep things? I think I had to wait. I ran, and also all the things I was hurrying for weeks after we shot it. The outfit, the armor had little tiny, little knives and swords and everything. I had those hook, but they had that. So every time I turned, I would get stabbed. So I had a lot of that. I had one way for a while. It's no longer around.
I have Skeletor's sword, and I have the chest piece from Blade. That skull, I have that. And a couple other things, but those are the two cool ones.
I kept good memories, and a lot of dried up Reese's peanut butter cups in my pockets and all my coats.
I kept all my original art, over 200 paintings.
Oh, wait a minute.
Where's that?
I have one original built stout of Skeletor.
And then Elliot Shit Cat's one I did for his birthday, which is called Shit Man.
I did keep some pieces of one of the armored suits, which I then later revamped and used for Halloween costume. And I made these big stilts for something. Remember the turtle-type stilt suit, Bob, that we'd done for Predator? And then they said, oh, we're just going to go with like really big tall guys through it. And so I cut the stilts that we had done, and I had the leftover armor pieces. I threw the two of them together, made myself a Halloween costume, won myself a 1,500 costume contest with it.
And I still have half a dozen trooper armor suits kicking around. Got all the molds that we use to make all the costumes. So those are still kicking around, as well as the helmet I mentioned earlier. And the costumes that I had at home really came in handy because I've reused bits and pieces over the years. They were the basis. Some of the armor that was left over ended up being the basis for the creation of the Captain Power suits. That starting point for us on that. So I have a garage filled with plastic replicas of the suits.
It shoot back.
I still have one of the swords. I originally had two. I donated one to a charity, years ago. It's Battle of the Universe. And, but I still have one because it's kind of important to me. I want to tell you I've got so many memories and watching the movie again tonight. I know we were in Wilmington for 6 weeks, night shoots, because we had, we get with the 12-hour days and then, we would basically hit rush hour boat coming and going. And I was sporting the no hair look. Gary assured me that it would grow back, and fortunately he was right. But and I was sitting in traffic, and I would just shake my head and look at being as freaky as I possibly could. But one of the things I'll always remember is we showed up one night. It was very misty there. And they had all these lights, and it was like a mothership because it was easily bigger than this whole ceiling up here of lights over our head on trusses and stuff. And when that lit up, it was just magical, and it created this world, and it created all of those night scenes that you saw, the big battle capture scene and the rooftops, and everything's very practical in this. In the gym, that's real fire. We shot that scene, and then it was get the hell out because the fire went up and the smoke went down, and the visibility went to about 20 feet, and we all crawled out. And the real fire department came, and I think that's where you got all that footage, wasn't Gary? But it gave it a reality that was really very spectacular.
Did you shoot that at a school?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, another question from the audience? So right. Yeah, you said go.
Oh yeah. Was Bill Conti always your first choice for the music, and what was it like? I mean, what's it like? I mean, how do you do it? You just give him a scene, and then he goes off and does something amazing.
I was given a list of 10 composers that Canon said they could afford. And Bill was on that one for some reason, because he was actually very successful in it. And I like his brass, and I know I want to hear what he scores. And I specifically told him I don't want to copy John Williams. I think I want your sound. I want your thing. But we met, and we got along, and I thought he had a good feeling for it. He wanted to do it, and I found out why he was on the list. I remember now. No one had come to him. He'd done, I don't know, Rocky and whatnot, but no one had come to him with an epic, sci-fi type thing. And so creatively, he just wanted to do one. So I think we got him for less than what he would normally do something because he actually wanted to do one of these pictures, and that's how we got him.
So you have a question from the audience? White t-shirt? Sure.
Yeah, the sequel. It was supposedly turned into Cyborg. Is that true?
I wasn't involved with that. I probably know about as much as you do because I read all the same stuff. And supposedly, yes, Albert Kuhn was going to do a sequel. And then by then, as I told you, Canon was going out of business. By then, they were pretty much out of business. But they did geek out that, and I think Albert, they were going to not do it. He changed the whole thing. He did whatever that movie was for, I don't know, not much, $2 million, $4 million or something. And they took some costumes and things they've been working on, and they switched it around. He wrote that script in a week, I think, and they did it.
That was my armor. The villain award, yeah, I recognize it. Right. That's my armor.
Take another question from the audience here. Right. Mustache.
For adaptations of established properties,
how has the relationship between the director and the studio evolved and changed, if it has, over the past few decades? Is it different now than it was then, or is it just the exact same way it is now as it was then? Does the director have more latitude, less latitude, or?
It depends upon the director. You probably know the directors, I don't have to name them, you know the ones that have a lot of latitude. Marvel does things different. Kevin has a really strong handle on the Marvel Universe and how it works, and he's takes a personal hand along with his partner and how they produce those movies, and they pick directors who are willing to share that vision. And they do a really good job at it, I think. And so I think each case is a case-by-case kind of situation. The stronger directors that have the reputation are given a freer hand and going down from there. By the way, the other ones get a freer hand when it's a younger director on a property that doesn't have a lot of attention, but because no one's been through. It's everyone else in between, those guys right there, those guys here, that get a level of studio involvement that some people embrace and some people don't. The Fantastic Four guy didn't want to embrace that, and so you have different people in different situations. By the way, each studio has its own kind of corporate culture, and some are friendly and some are a little more rigid. So honestly, I don't think there's a generalization there. It's every case is unique.
I know Gary's going to jump on a flight pretty soon tonight, but is it anyone's birthday this weekend? A couple people? And is anyone's birthday today? Well, I've got some cupcakes. What should we do? Right at the hour? We all stand up with you. Good journey? Should we do a good journey? Good journey. Alright. I'll ask a question. Alright, everybody for Bill Scott's birthday. Good journey. Good journey. Watching the movie again, would you notice? I mean, it still holds up really well. I can see if anyone had a good time working on it, but that's all.
It's just a pleasure. I think the thing about doing movies is the family that kind of gets together for that brief time, whether it's 6 weeks or as long as we do. It's just kind of a family, and they stay with.
I was a god to everybody because they signed up for 6 or 8 weeks, they worked 12 or 14, so everybody paid a ton. So that's it. They love us.
But it was just the pleasure, again, seeing all these people, such a pleasure again. But it's the family that gets together. You remember, you think of things about the film. What you remember mostly is the people. I mentioned Billy, I mentioned so many other people who worked on this. That's what stays with you.
Yeah.
I think, well, honestly, the last year or two, the kind of positive feedback that I've seen online and things that I've heard, the fact that we're here this many years later, as you know, thousands of films get made every year, and thousands of films get screened, and very few have the power, the staying power, and the fact that we're all here makes me, I got a little misty eyed back there. All of us worked hard to try and make this thing come together against some very, very huge obstacles. And the fact that we did it, the fact that it does hold up pretty well, and the fact that you're all here, that this film is still here and still being talked about all these years later, and that holds a fond place in the heart. That's what sticks with me, and the fact that we did it with a very dedicated group. And yes, everything you heard here is true. It was a great company of players, great crew. We really had a great time doing this, and I'm just happy that this many years later, it still has presence. So I thank you for that. Thank you.
Well, I'm really surprised how well it held up. I actually brought my 16-year-old son, and I said, it's going to be really bad, it's really cheesy. But I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was quite good, and I think it does hold up. And I have to say that Gary, always the director at the helm of it, and he just kept us laughing no matter what was happening. And a lot of what we didn't know, which was, Canada going out of business and all that, some of it we didn't know, and he just kept us rolling and kept it happening, and we all had a great time. Thank you, Gary.
I did a couple of Canada, besides this one, I also did Invaders from Mars, and I have to say that working with folks back then was so much fun. It was way more fun back then working for them, working for Roger Carbon than it is now. It's gotten tougher. But man, this one was a blast, and I think it all came down to Gary. Gary was the leader. He provided the proper spirit, the context for everything, and like Chelsea said, he kept a sense of humor about stuff. And that was crucial at certain times for just getting through the show, getting through the day. Sometimes you needed that Gary jump to just keep you going.
I'd have to agree with him. It's like the director is very important on set because he basically sets the tone. The director doesn't want to let everybody know that there's something going on back at the studio head that may not be going on that's really good. And you don't want those people to know because they're here to do their job. You've got to keep them happy so that everybody is happy. They're doing the best work they can. And they're right. The film really does hold up really well. You have to remember, there was no such thing as CGI back then. If it was going to be flown, it had to be flown on real wires. And that's a lot of the reason why it was picked to be done as a night shot. They knew there was going to be a lot of effects. The easiest way to cover up any slight little imperfection with the effects is to shoot at night because then you don't have any matte lines showing. And it really does hold up really well, all things considered, pre-CGI. Now if they were going to do this film, you wouldn't have real people being racing down, you know, I mean, Gary, didn't you have Dolph literally strapped to the roof of a truck?
Yeah.
To do those flights?
I don't know if you remember Hal Needham, but Hal Needham directed Smoking the Vanities. He invented it. Yeah, great guy. He invented the shot car, and the shot car was this truck that had a big arm and could go all over the place. It could move this way and that way. So we mounted Dolph where the camera goes on the screen, like 30 feet from the back of the truck, and strapped his boots. You can't see him. His boots have metal things, so he can't fall off. And we ran that guy 50 miles an hour down that street. Anytime we met stuff where you blow in on it was a bad map behind us, so we still look real. It was!
And that's the kind of thing that made films in the 80s so much fun to do. Because it was just a different mindset and just a different challenge as to how to get things done. And a film like this really shows all the different techniques and disciplines that were involved to get it done. What I take away from the film was the relationship with Gary that continued on, like I said, into Captain Power. And the thing I could always count on Gary is being cutting edge, going basically where nobody has gone before. In this film, you know, going to the extreme, everything, action, you know, suits, special effects, and then moving on to Captain Power, being the first person to actually consider doing CGI
on a weekly basis,
which, you know, is kind of, you know, Gary truly is one of the pioneers in, you know, in CGI, even though in this film there was no CGI, it just didn't exist. So that's been part of what my takeaway from working on Masters of the Universe was, you know, watching Gary continue to you know, grow and expand the envelope of production for all of us. It's been great.
One of the reasons I wanted to be here tonight was because of the people that are on this stage right now and getting a chance to see them again. It's the nature of this business where you get to work together and have a wonderful adventure, and then you don't see each other for years, sometimes maybe never again. Every scene that I watched, I can remember exactly what was going on behind the scenes for every night shoot that we did, or every day shoot, or every piece of dialogue. And more than anything, it's a real tribute to Gary as a leader, because he got every performer and every department to do their very best all the time. And I've been doing this a long time. It's not always like that. A lot of people are content to do their job and just do their job, and that's it. And you know, Gary, you know, he was leading the charge from the front. You know, and we all had to, you know, do our best to keep up. And what you see is what has held up so very well all these years. I'm so pleased and proud to be a part of it. Thank you, Gary.
We're calling a movie theater.